Would you like to bet $20 and win $100 at BetMGM regardless of your wager's outcome and get $100 in free wager bucks? Just go to wt.buzz/MGM for more details and find out if you're eligible for this amazing offer.
Welcome, everybody, to WagerTalk Today. It is Friday, October 8th. This guy right here is the Prez, Lawrence Presman, and that guy is Teddy Covers. Teddy, how did you do yesterday, my friend? College football, baseball, playoffs begun. Did it go well?
So what do we have on today's show, Prez? Isn't that what we do at the Open? Who do we have? What games we're talking about? And
no,
then you asked me about
actually, you know what, Teddy? I started this show. I got the mic. I went the way I went. Instead of correcting me, why don't you answer the damn question?
Because
so
that's
Teddy
not
didn't
what
win last night.
To on today's show. I'll happy to tell him everything we want, but on today's show,
okay, Rob Veno. I'm just gonna go your way. I don't want to argue with you. I'm sick of arguing with you. Rob Veno joining us first up. Central Michigan versus Ohio, UCLA, and Arizona, 2 college football games. Then we've got Tony Mejia. He's talking Dodgers, San Fran, and the Georgia-Auburn game. And Andy Lang at the end with 4 prop bets for you guys. Now, how did you do last night?
Now, in my big game breakdown, we'll be talking about the 49ers and the Cardinals. So it is a loaded Football Friday here on Wager Talk Today. When it comes to how I did yesterday, the free play on Tampa Bay won in MLB, and the service play on the over in the Coastal Carolina game came a little bit short. I want to talk about that in what did bettors learn last night, because we talk a lot about the concept of value. What's the definition of a bet with no value? I'll tell you what it is. I had the matchup kind of right. I said the Chanticleers would hang 50, and they did. I didn't expect them to kick a field goal from the 1-yard line, though. But I did expect big plays in bunches. And there were 5 touchdowns in that game of 60 yards or more. Just wild. I had the over. Did it cash? No. The missed 2-point conversion was huge. The field goal from the 1-yard line was huge. But the bottom line was a total of 73 and then 74 and then 75. Clearly, those weren't value numbers. The handicap wasn't necessarily wrong, but the markets weren't sleeping on the idea. The best bets you're going to make is when the markets are sleeping on what you're seeing. Those are the true value bets. Last night, I thought I had something with Coastal Carolina and Arkansas State over the total. Turns out the handicap was right, but the value wasn't there. What about you, Prez? What did you learn last night?
Well, listen, I had the same scenario, except I happened to win. I took Coastal Carolina minus 17 3 days ago. Line moved all the way up to 20.5. Last I looked, didn't matter. So my handicap was right. The book saw the same thing I saw, and I still won. Booyah, bitches. As well, I had the Houston Astros. Teddy, my baseball playoffs. Dude, 2 years ago, I went 10-1 in the baseball playoffs. In the last 2 years, I am 21-10, and I am now 1-0 this season. Guys, before we bring Rob Veno in, I know, Teddy, you want to talk, but before we bring Rob Veno in, I got a promotion that is so sick. This is probably the best promotion we've given on the show in a long, long time, and I'm going to talk about it every time a guest comes on. Anybody on this show today, so Teddy, myself, Rob Veno, Tony Mejia, Andy Lang, the 5 of us, any one of us Technical difficulties. Sorry about that. Gold line comes into the chat room. This show stinks. I'll take that as a compliment, bro. Because you're clearly talking about the part where we had the technical difficulties. And yes, that part of the show stunk, but we're back. Anyway, we're giving out a promotion. WT39. WT39. Any one of the people that are on the show today, me, Teddy, Andy, Tony Mejia, Rob Veno, you can have the next 3 days of all our plays for only $39. I'll ask each person what they've got going this week. I've got a baseball play today. I got 5 football plays tomorrow, 4 on Sunday, and a few baseball plays along the way. So WT39. Teddy, what do you got on tap for this weekend?
Well, when we were just talking about MLB and the run you're on in MLB, I'm on a pretty good run in MLB myself.
Yeah.
83% since late September. And I'm 73-52 since May in baseball action. I got a 5% big ticket up today in MLB and a 5% up for tomorrow in college football, as well as a loaded NFL weekend for Sunday. So to take advantage of this offer, WT39 gets you the entire weekend for $39. That is as good a deal as you're going to find.
Yeah, 100%. Robert V, one of our listeners writes, bad things happen every time you come on this show. I don't agree, dude. I think only good things happen when Rob Veno is with us. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. I don't know how good I am after that. Bad things happen when I show up. It's not particularly.
I'm the messenger.
No, I know. I'm not blaming you. Chat rooms are what they are.
Dude,
good things happen whenever that contributor shows up. Good things happen to me. I don't even know who he is, but I'll take the half full approach.
I hear you. I hear you, brother. Let's get straight into it. We'll talk promotion and all that stuff after, but Central Michigan playing Ohio U, -5 for Central Michigan. Where are you going in this game?
I'm going to play the favorite, Prez. I think the price is a little bit short. Power ratings showed Central Michigan 6.5, but that's not the real reason why I'm playing the game. I'm not a believer in Ohio U turning any corners. Last week with that win over Akron, they gained 398 rushing yards against Akron in a performance that we haven't seen out of Ohio U all season long. But Akron, arguably the worst team in Division 1A. You could take them, UConn and Massachusetts, put them all in a heap and see who comes out on top or on the bottom. Akron actually has the worst yards per play versus yards per play allowed number in NCAA FBS football right now. Last week, against this Ohio U team, Akron averaged their season high in yards per play, 5.2, and they were actually winning that game 17-10 in the third quarter. So, again, I'm not a believer in Ohio U turning any corners here. They move way up in class in this game. For Central Michigan, it was a day of lost opportunities last week, into the red zone 3 times, settle for field goals 3 times, get to the Miami 23, miss a field goal again. So a lot of points left on the field for CMU. There's a contrast in tempo here, guys. Central Michigan running 80 plays per game. Ohio U only 60. So the Central Michigan's going to want to speed this thing up. I don't know that Akron can stop them because their defense is so bad. Schedule strength favors CMU to this point. And I think there's a little sense of urgency here for the Central Michigan side. The Western Division of that MAC is pretty tough. They've already got a loss inside the conference, so this is a game they can't afford to lose. Their weakness on the defensive side is their secondary, but Ohio U doesn't really throw it well enough. You got a couple of quarterbacks here. Curtis Rourke, he's not his brother Nathan, who was the pilot for this Ohio U team for a lot of years. Armani Rogers, will remember his quarterback from UNLV, hasn't been a good passer ever since he entered college football. Not so sure Ohio U can take advantage of the weakness here. I think the other side will. Daniel Richardson certainly can throw against an Ohio U secondary. And I'll give the folks out there a couple of numbers if you just like playing first half, second half, and you don't like full game. Where Ohio U is concerned, in the first half this year, they're 0-5 against the spread, and they're 5-0 to the under. Perfect as losers and under team so far in the first half. Second half, they're a good over squad, 4-1 over the total second half, mostly because they're coming from behind. Other teams let off the gas. Their defense is still bad. But I like Central Michigan here at -5. I think they can win this game by double digits.
So you talked about Richardson at quarterback for the Chippewas. I'm showing doubtful for this weekend for Richardson. He's dealing with a shoulder injury. He was very limited in practice yesterday. They've got cluster injuries at wide receiver. They've got cluster injuries in the secondary. I had Central on my short list this week. And then as I was looking through the injury report, I'm like, I just can't back this team laying this price on the highway with the type of injuries that they have. Are you concerned at all if it's Sermon at QB as opposed to Richardson or somebody else for the Chippewas? And how worried are you about the Central Michigan injury report for Saturday?
Yeah, and here's the thought process behind that, Teddy. If, in fact, Richardson does not go, the idea is that they should be able to hand off the football and run it against Ohio U with a backup quarterback to make life easier. Ohio U just doesn't really stop anything at this point in time. Like I say, they gave up a season-high yards per play to Akron, whose starting quarterback probably not, or maybe it is equivalent to the CMU backup quarterback. So my thinking is the offense will still produce. The defense can't be exposed, even with cluster injuries in the secondary, because the other side doesn't throw it. So I'm going to stick to it. There's something wrong with that team since Frank Solich retired, and they just haven't been the same since then. So we'll see how it goes, but I think the price is too short here with the sense of urgency on CMU side. I'll take them.
Awesome stuff. Rob Veno joining us, everyone. And Rob, as we spoke about at the top of the show, we're giving out a sweet promotion today, $39 for anybody on this show's plays, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That offer expires tonight, so you have to take advantage of it today, WT39. Robert, what do you have in store for your clients Friday, Saturday, and Sunday?
If we start with today, Prez, 4% college football, best bet up and available right now, and a 3% from Major League Baseball, the ALDS. Tomorrow, within the next, as soon as we get off of here, the 5% for college football is going up. I didn't have a 5% blue chip last week in CFB. I do have one this week, so you'll be able to get that along with the rest of the college football card. And on Sunday, the potential there is for another 5% play. Something I've been looking at since Tuesday, guys, and haven't quite gotten there yet, but it looks like off of what I was reading this morning, I will be able to. So shot at 2 5%ers this weekend, college football and NFL, plus all the baseball that comes with it.
Outstanding stuff. Rob, UCLA, Arizona, you like the total in this game. Which way are you going?
Yeah, I think until further notice, Prez, UCLA is an overplay. They've gone over this particular total in 4 of the last 5. Last week, 42-23, lost to Arizona State. Interesting because UCLA had been so good at playing run defense. And then last week, Arizona State ran on them halfway decent. Arizona, on the other hand, they've had an extra week to prepare for this. And Jed Fish's team actually comes off of their best offensive yardage total of the season, 435, put up against Oregon. And they did it pretty well, 202 rushing, 233 passing. What held them back was 5 turnovers, all interceptions in that game. 2 of those cost them inside the red zone. So the offense seems to be perking up a little bit for the Arizona side. And UCLA's defense allowed 33 points a game in their last 4, so they can be had. I think Arizona it's a good sign for them to have some offensive success. I definitely believe UCLA will have offensive success here. The rushing game has been tremendous, over 200 yards in every game except for 1, and they've been able to throw off of that and balance as well. I think for Arizona, if you hang on to the football here and you just are patient with the balanced offense, they're going to get their points in this game. To me, the total was really in an area where UCLA has to be played over the number. We're looking at, I think, 61 when I played it. I think this game finds its way to 65 or so. In the beginning of the season, I wasn't all that high on Jed Fish producing offensively with this team. I think his offense is complex. But boy, Arizona has taken to it pretty darn well so far. So I'm going to play this thing over. I'm looking for something in the vicinity of 44-27, something like that, which puts me well over the total.
So I got to ask you, Rob. I mean, Arizona's yet to score 20 in a game this year.
Right.
Their yards per point numbers are atrocious because they keep turning the ball over. What do they have? 8 giveaways the last 2 ball games against Northern Arizona and Oregon. Can we trust the Wildcats to score? You talked about how you like Fish. You talked about the pace that they're playing, but the execution simply hasn't been there. Is this the week that we see Arizona's offensive execution get this game up and over the total?
Yeah, they have to hang on to the football, Teddy. Like I say, 5 turnovers last week and 19 points, 2 inside the red zone. In fact, inside the 15-yard line. And you just can't have that. But again, those are numbers that you can't handicap to happen every single week. I understand some teams are more turnover prone than others. Some teams are more susceptible to pressure than others. But 5 interceptions in a game with a week off, 2 weeks to get ready for this. I think a lot of that stuff gets corrected. It stands to reason the first part of this season that maybe they couldn't execute Jed Fish's complex offense really well. But I think as the season goes on, they're showing me by the yardage numbers that they put up that a big second half against BYU, which is a pretty good defensive team. It'll result in some more points here against a softer defense in UCLA. They just haven't been that good on the defensive side of the football. So if I can get 24 out of Arizona, I win this game. 19 with 5 turnovers, I think they can get to 24 even if they turn it over twice.
Rob Veno. Rob, thanks so much for joining us, man. We've spoken about what you've got to promote. Anything else you want to say before we kick you to the curb?
I'll just chime in real fast here because you guys were both saying you've been hot in baseball. And baseball since the All-Star break has been great for me, plus 56% ROI since the All-Star break. Baseball play today. Look forward to the playoffs. So, again, get the weekend. The special offer that Prez mentioned, we'll have a lot available for you Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
WT39. Rob Veno, everyone. Guys, we've got a jam-packed half an hour still to go. Teddy's big game breakdown. We've got Tony Mejia, Andy Lang, the daily presidential address. Stay with us. We will be literally 15 seconds.
Why pay regular price when you can save money on every purchase with WagerBucks at both WagerTalk and Sports Memo? WagerBucks are now eligible for use on not just daily, 3-day, and 7-day passes, but all long-term and seasonal packages up to 1 full year. There are tons of options available for every budget and size of bettor. From as low as $90 gets $100, all the way up to $3,500 gets you $5,000. Save every day on every pick you buy with WagerBucks.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. Let's talk a little Arizona Cardinals and San Francisco 49ers. NFL action for Sunday. Looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen, I'm seeing a little bit of variance right now for Arizona. You can find them as low as -4. You can find them as high as -5. I'm going to call it 4.5 as a prevailing number right now. Total sitting in the 49.5/50 range between the Cardinals and the 49ers. And from a concept, I understand why San Fran has been attracting some attention in the betting markets this week. Certainly off of back-to-back losses in an ultra-competitive division, it feels like a circle the wagons game for the 49ers, whereas Arizona, in theory, is supposed to be fat and happy. They've just won 4 in a row and are feeling pretty good about themselves. I understand the concept. However, I don't believe that San Fran is a good team, and I know Arizona is a good team, and you're laying a very reasonable price for the Cardinals. Let's start with San Fran's quarterback issues, whether it's Garoppolo or Trey Lance. We don't know which is who's going to start. You say, all right, that's a problem for Arizona in terms of game planning. What's a problem for San Fran in terms of game planning too, in terms of practicing with your rookie in there taking snaps all week? If it's Garoppolo's no good. We know that already. If it's Lance, it's your rookie QB with film on him now, making his first career road start. Bad either way. San Fran has cluster injuries all over their defense. Their secondary in particular is really banged up. You don't want that against Kyler Murray and the bevy of weapons that the Arizona Cardinals have. And when you look at this 49ers team, not just this year, go back. They had the one Super Bowl season under Shanahan. Every other year, they've been a losing team. So far this year, 2-2. Who are the wins? Detroit and Philly. Not exactly a who's who of good teams. All right. Arizona's better than San Fran on any field. I'm not going to say in any spot, but in a spot where I don't think that Arizona's going to let down. They're playing a divisional opponent who's owned them at home. Arizona's not letting down here. Cardinals, minus the spot, they're better than the 49ers. Lay the points. And there's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Yes, sir. And we had a line move on that game as well overnight. Some money coming in on the under. We've got 49s on the board. So if you guys are planning to bet that under, keep an eye on that line. Let's bring Tony Mejia in. Tony, been a while since I've personally spoken to you, but I have been away. How are you, man? What's going on?
I'm doing great, Prez. Hope everything's been going well for you. I'm sure you're looking forward to hockey and whatnot, and things are okay here. Just looking forward to basketball, obviously, coming, but we've got a wave of sports with all the football and the football, which is an international break, so that's when I really pay attention to it, because too many domestic leagues to keep track of with the pigskin all going on as well. But when there are World Cup qualifiers and whatnot throughout the globe, that's when I really like to lock in and do some damage there. So I've actually got Cameroon and Mozambique on a tablet right below me, and ready to talk some baseball playoffs and weekend football. So have at it.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you mentioned Cameroon and Mozambique. Very exciting game in case any of you guys are watching it. Dude, let's go, man. Dodgers, San Fran, these teams have just been playing against each other all year, it feels. Awesome two pitchers on the mound. A total of 7 in this game as well. Minus 115, pick 'em, give or take. Where are you going?
I mean, I'm really trying to make a decision on whether I want to trust this Dodgers bullpen and Kenley Jansen specifically, especially since we saw them really hold up nicely against St. Louis a couple of days ago. That's great in terms of building up confidence and game pressure, but not so great since they used up some of that mileage. Granted, it's over a day ahead, so everybody should be good to go. But I'm thinking that if I'm going to ride with the Dodgers or the under, which is my inclinations on both of these, betting opportunities, I might want to go first 5 innings.
So Dodgers are under for first 5. This is a really hard one for me. I have absolutely no idea what to do with San Fran and LA. From a series standpoint, you have a take at who's going to win this, Tony, or is this one of these situations where it's just, let's take it game by game? The near pick'em price for game 1 and the near pick'em price for the series is telling us what we need to know. It's going to be tight.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tight. I think my lean is towards the Dodgers. Already having stared down elimination once and coming up just short in terms of the divisional race. I think that they're battle tested, and obviously they're the reigning champions. The San Francisco team came out of nowhere, but we can't write them off as a fluke, obviously, with 108 wins that they came up with. So, and then they went out at the trade deadline and stocked up as they should have. So 2 legitimate powerhouses. I hope I'm not just conditioned to say Dodgers, and that's why. But certainly, you got to feel good about Buehler and then Urias and Scherzer, and a bullpen that deserved the bad rap that they got there for a while. But with Gratterall and Jenkins, Jansen, throwing heat up there, you would think that they will be able to get by San Francisco.
So I misspoke there, and I said the series price for near pick'em. Game 1 is near pick'em, but the Dodgers in the minus 150 to minus 160 range. What do you do, Tony, with a series where game 1 is near pick'em, but there's one team that's a significant favorite in the series? Isn't that something that we can take advantage of?
I mean, you could say that the only way to bet the series entering right now is to go Giants at plus money. That's what I think. And then that's if you like the Giants tonight, because even if they are able to,
I agree.
If you lose tonight, then you still got the plus money and whatnot. If you like the Dodgers, I wouldn't pay the price. I would just take game one.
Tony, I agree. I mean, the way I would attack it is I would play San Fran tonight to win the series. If they win, come back and see if you can get the Dodgers. Dude, 2 more games to talk about, and one is a doozy. This Georgia team, just vicious, minus 15.5, playing Auburn. Look, I mean, is this going to be a Oregon-Stanford type of a scenario here, or is this Georgia team going to lay the smack down?
Yeah, I don't think it's an Oregon-Stanford situation. To me, I think that it is a situation where Georgia has been lights out, and Auburn has really put on film 2 games where where they're going to go when they need yardage or they need a 4th down situation. Nix was running for his life last week at LSU, first win at LSU since 1999, and credit to him, he made some great plays, but that LSU defense is nowhere near what this Georgia defense is. Then we also saw Auburn at Penn State. That was a daunting atmosphere. It was the whiteout game. And they had a chance to win that game. So I'm not saying Auburn isn't a top 25 football team, but this Georgia team, we've seen them humble Clemson. We've seen them humble Arkansas last week. That UAB team that they dismantled, they did so with Stetson Bennett at quarterback and not JT Daniels, and they took them apart. UAB probably one of the better teams in Conference USA, and obviously they took care of their light work in the SEC with wins over South Carolina and Vanderbilt. Jordan Hare, been there a couple of times. Certainly offers some home field advantage to the Tigers, but it's not a place that like Penn State at night or LSU at night that brings the 12th man to the table. You can win at Auburn. So I think Georgia will lay the hammer down as well. And I really want to see what this defense can do against an Auburn team that outside of Tank Bigsby really lacks playmakers this season.
So it looks like JT Daniels is not going to be able to go for Georgia again this week. It means that Bennett gets the start, or is likely to get the start. Does that concern you at all about the Bulldogs? Certainly the win over Clemson early in the season has been devalued a little bit. And the win over Arkansas last week, predicated in large part to the fact they jumped out to that 21-0 lead. And Arkansas, doesn't have an offense that's going to work if you can't run the football. Are you worried that Georgia's overvalued with their backup QB behind center this week?
No, I think
Tony Mejia has frozen, but his answer, Teddy, is no. He is not concerned, but I actually thought that was an outstanding question. And we did have one more game to talk to him about, the Packers-Bengals. You want to throw your thoughts in quickly on that game?
So I was looking at Cincinnati at the plus 3.5 mark against Green Bay. And it's just one of those situations where the Packers, we've seen this Packers team for many years. And these are the type of games that Green Bay, coming off back-to-back huge wins, going on the road to face a lesser opponent, these are the type of games that Green Bay tends to come up a little bit short. We don't know how good Cincinnati is. All right, this is Cincinnati's show-me game. And at 3.5, I was all ears about Cincinnati showing me. The markets have already taken the 3.5s out. At 3, it's not nearly as good of a bet. So I leaned Cincinnati, but I did not get to the betting window with them. I talked about betting them on Monday, and then I didn't do it. I think Tony liked the other side of that game, and I was interested to hear what he was going to say about Green Bay, because certainly if you look at the two teams on paper, you take the situation out of it, the Packers are the better of these two teams. But Green Bay also has some cluster injuries in the secondary that worry me, not just from a point spread perspective, they worry me from a straight-up perspective this week against Joe Burrow and company. Lean Bengals.
Teddy covers. Guys, make sure to take advantage of the promo we're offering, WT39. 3 days of anybody who came on the show's plays. Teddy, myself, Rob Veno, Tony Mejia, and my brother on the NFL presidential address, Andy frickin' Lang. Andy, what happened to your face?
Oh, my mom and dad, and two people love each other, they get together and sometimes the genes don't work out and you're left with this. No, no, I had a bug bite, which got infected. And believe it or not, this looks amazing. I look incredible. Wow. Earlier this week, I had a golf ball coming out of my head. So, I'm bringing sexy back.
There you go. Andy Lang joining us, everybody. And guys, the NFL presidential address is up. We've already got some exceptional comments. One gentleman wrote he won $5,000 betting plays inside of the NFL presidential address. So really appreciate those kind words. Andy does make an appearance on that show, so please check it out. WagerTalk TV, our YouTube channel. Andy, man, let's go, baby. Right into it. You got a prop on Trevor Lawrence. Love his last name. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to look. I'm going to go past his passing yards. I'm going to look at his rushing yards, and I love this total. Over 22.5 yards rushing. I noticed this against the Cardinals. The Jaguars really discovered something positive in their running game with James Robinson, and then Trevor Lawrence got involved with that read option, and we've seen good results for them the last couple weeks. 2 weeks ago, Lawrence rushed 6 times for 27 yards, and then against the Bengals, he rushed 8 times for 36 yards. Now they get a Tennessee Titans defense who are just really struggling. They're really bad, a lot of injuries. And the Jags almost got their first win against Cincinnati with this rushing approach. I think we're going to see more of the same. Lawrence looks really good running the ball. And I think we can get this play over 22.5 this week. And if it hits, I bet we can get it again next week against the Dolphins, who have been awful on defense and against the run. So this play, I think, is going to be good for this week, but also next week as well before the books adjust. I think this is a 2-week play on Trevor Lawrence with that read option with James Robinson. I think they're going to do some damage this week. Love Lawrence over 22.5 yards rushing.
It makes a ton of sense to me. But this is one, next one game we're going to talk about is a first half play as opposed to a full game play. I'm interested in your thought process as to why Carolina first half is the way to look, -2, as opposed to the Panthers' full game against the Philadelphia Eagles. Explain the first half rationale for the Panthers on Sunday.
I've had a lot of success this year breaking the games down into halves and quarters, and you can find really, really obvious trends when you break them down into smaller segments, and the Panthers have been arguably the best first half team in the NFL. They've covered every first half spread this year, and they've outscored every team they've played in the first half, including the Cowboys last week by 1 point. Philadelphia put up solid point totals in the first half against the Falcons and the Chiefs. Both those are very porous defenses, and Carolina is not. Carolina is going to be one of the better defenses Philly has played, and I'm just going to keep riding the Panthers playing well early in the spot. Sam Darnold has been rushing the ball, leading the league in rushing touchdowns. As long as this number stays under a field goal, and right now I see the line at -2, this makes it a solid play for me. I'm going to be playing the Panthers a lot in the first half of the season as long as they keep up this momentum in these hot starts.
Yeah, and Andy, that's a great take. I mean, we've seen 2 games already where Carolina fell apart in the second half. One to the Jets. They were still able to get that home. And then, of course, just a brutal quarter against Dallas. Next up, Darren Waller. And, I mean, this guy's a beast. They're going to double team him. There's no other way.
Yeah, those of you that drafted Darren Waller in your fantasy leagues had to be really excited after week 1. And the next 3 weeks, not so much. And I'm going to keep riding his unders here. The number is 69.5 yards receiving. I'm going under. And the Raiders are spreading the ball out in the passing game. After the huge game in week 1 for Waller, he's gone under this total in 3 straight games, and he's gone under by a lot. His receiving total has gone down 4 straight weeks. And the Bears have been good defending tight ends. They've only given up 133 total yards receiving to tight ends this season. Renfrow has been a really good target for Derek Carr. And the way Renfrow plays, getting a lot of those possession passes and occasionally stretching the defense, I got to wonder if some of his breakout production is taken away from Waller. For whatever reason, teams have been able to slow down Waller this year. I think the Bears can do the same, especially if the Bears get into kind of a rushing and slow down mentality on offense. They control the time of possession. Waller, you just can't play overs on Darren Waller right now. There's too much spreading the ball out from Las Vegas. So I'm going to take under 69.5 yards receiving, and I'm probably going to keep playing him under as long as they keep this number around the 70-yard mark.
Yeah, Waller, after getting 19 targets on opening day, has gotten 7, 7, and 7 over the course of the last 3 weeks. And it's definitely worth noting he's had a 20-plus yard catch in every one of those ball games and still hasn't gone over this receiving number. Let's go to London and talk about Matt Ryan and what you like from Matt Ryan. Now, without Calvin Ridley in the lineup, Ridley did not make the trip with the team, a personal matter. That takes away their best weapon downfield. It certainly affects. I came on air and gave a recommendation on the over earlier in the week. I was like, you got to bet this now. The money's flying in on the over. And that, of course, has gone the other way since Ridley was announced as being out. But you're not worried about Matt Ryan throwing the football. You're interested in Matt Ryan running the football. Over under 2.5 yards. What are we going to do with Matt Ryan and his scramble ability?
London special, Matt Ryan, over 2.5 yards rushing. Believe it or not, he's gone over this total in 3 out of 4 games. Last week, he had a 17-yard run, which that's mind-blowing to think Matt Ryan ran for 17 yards. You mentioned no Calvin Ridley, also no Russell Gage. The Jets defense, they can put a little bit of pressure on. I only need one broken play for Matt Ryan to get to the outside or get up the middle. I think he gets over this 2.5 yard total. So yes, when we send 2 bad teams over to London, we got to take a very obscure prop, and I'll take Matt Ryan over 2.5 yards rushing.
There you go. Andy, we got an unbelievable promotion going. WT39, you guys can get any play, any 3-day package from any one of us. So all Andy's plays for the next 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, for only $39, promo code WT39. What do you got up for our clients this week?
We got a 5% play up, 7-1 lifetime in those, and NFL prop pack is up. We're coming off a 3-0 night last night in our Thursday night football plays. We're on a 14-5 prop run. They've been great. Props have been very, very profitable this season. So both of those are up, available right now on WagerTalk.com. Prez, you gonna be watching the old boxing match? We doing a little boxing?
I was actually just going to ask you about the boxing match. Before we do that, James S., happy birthday, brother. We appreciate you always logging on every day. Have a wonderful, wonderful day today. Yeah, man, quite the press conference. A loudmouth Brit and an American who couldn't get off his cell phone. You betting this one?
I am. I think there's one play that is worth a sprinkle to me. Deontay Wilder to be knocked down at least once. It's a little juicy at minus 150. I wouldn't play it below this. So, okay, he got knocked down twice in the last fight. The ref ruled them slips, but he got pummeled in that last fight. And Tyson Fury is now coming in 20 pounds heavier than the last fight. Of course, they say it's muscle. Of course, it's muscle. I really think Fury figured out Wilder in fight 2, and he has so much confidence. Both guys are going to be going for the knockout. I think Wilder's confidence is a little bit low. I think he definitely sees himself as an underdog. I think he's going to go a little bit too hard too early. Fury with the extra weight, I think he can wear him down and be patient early. And with that extra weight, if he can weigh on him and just wear down Wilder, those legs are going to get tired. I think we see at least one knockdown. I think Fury gets the win, possibly by knockout, but definitely I got Wilder going down at least once.
Love it. Yeah, I'm going to a party tomorrow night, so I'll likely miss the fight. I'm not going to make the host rent the damn fight, but Should be a good one. They don't talk about boxing much anymore. But this fight is definitely going to get viewership. Andy Lang, everybody. Andy, thanks so much for joining us. Guys, it's time. Let's go. Daily presidential address. Just want to let everybody know, if you're watching this show on Twitter, any 5 guys that came on to Wager Talk today, Teddy, myself, Andy Lang, Rob Veno, and Tony Mejia, you can get 3 days of all our plays for only $39. Use the promo code WT39. To give you perspective, I'm on an 8-2 college football run. I have won my last six cards of college football. I've won 5 of my last 7 in NFL. That's 5 of my last 7 NFL cards. And my baseball playoffs are absurd. Now 22-10 over the last 3 years of baseball playoffs. I'm locked for the whole weekend. I got baseball play every day. 5 college football plays tomorrow. 4 NFLs on Sunday. So take advantage. Get all of my my days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for $39. WT39. As for some free picks, well, yesterday I told you guys the Rams, winner. I told you guys Tampa Bay under, winner. And I also gave out the Pats under the total. We don't know yet if that one is a winner. Today we are going with the Atlanta Braves and Charlie Morton on the mound, a nice dog. We're also going with Jacksonville and Tennessee over the total of 49 and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And you know how much I can't stand the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, they stink, but this is their game. Check me out on the NFL Presidential Address. It's up now. Wager Talk TV, our YouTube channel. Other than that, Teddy, outstanding show. Take us home, bro.
Sure, that's going to wrap it for the Friday edition of Wager Talk today. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to hang out with Prez and I. We do it every weekday right here on the Wager Talk YouTube channel, 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon for you folks back east. That means we'll be back on Monday. So between now and then, enjoy your weekend. Win some bets. We'll see you on Monday. Cheers.
Sign up for the free WagerTalk Text Club to gain access to free plays and exclusive discounts. Just text WagerTalk to 33222 to sign up and get a $10 coupon to use on WagerTalk.com.